hit the road to Kitgum district in northern Uganda to find out how children and others suffering from nodding syndrome are coping. Our first stop was in Tamangu village, about 22 kilometers from Kitgum town. There are many unanswered questions to date about what causes this syndrome, with research showing it affects the nervous system and damages the brain. 17-year-old Jennifer Aromorach lives in the humble home, and she has been down with nodding syndrome for some time now. Her mother abandoned her and left her with her frail 70-year-old grandmother, Martha Ajok.
Her life here is with a lot of pain and suffering.
She was diagnosed 6 years ago. Family belongings comprising rags, a plastic mug, and a few others hung by the roof, a typical sign of poverty.
I worry about me and my child because I don't know how the day will rise. She doesn't have a mother, she doesn't have a father.
Nodding syndrome presents like epilepsy through multiple seizure types, with nodding being the major seizure, mostly affecting children between 5 and 15 years. The condition also leads to cognitive impairment and physical retardation in some children.
I have never gone to the hospital because I feel very weak and the child is very weak as well. We don't have anyone to help us in the hospital to take care of the child from there. Even people around, I think they could help, but nobody comes to help.
The youngster spends a day and night on the dusty hard floor in this hut which doubles as the kitchen. More often than not, he is on an empty stomach and endures the smoke here. At the time we visited, we found Jennifer waiting to eat sun-dried cucumber-like fruits, which was the family meal for the day. She's weak, yet doctors recommend that nodding syndrome patients should eat a balanced diet of carbohydrates, proteins, and vitamins. Her 70-year-old grandmother Ajok is not only frail but also has no clear source of income. She can't dig, so the two live on handouts from well-wishers. Nodding syndrome in northern Uganda was first reported in 2009. But the report from the Ministry of Health showed that the syndrome had been endemic in Kitgum, Padel, and Lamot districts since 2005, with about 300 children affected. By 2012, estimates were that there were about 3,094 cases in northern Uganda and 170 deaths reported since 2005. Many children with nodding syndrome have drowned in wells or sometimes fallen in fire. Whenever Jennifer's grandmother leaves home to look for what to eat from the neighborhood, she ties the girl on a pillar with a string. This is to ensure that she does not stray from the home and get lost. It's a weak string from a piece of cloth, but Jennifer cannot tear it because she's weak and will stay put.
I tie her on the pole because most times she crawls and pulls things from the wall. She destroys the food that I've kept.
Jennifer's future is uncertain because if one day she wakes up and the mother has no energy to move around to look for food from the well-wishers, they could all starve in this very small room and die. And all that she needs is not education, but rather food to survive. Johnson Oweka, a field nurse working with Hope for Humans, an NGO in Kitgum, explained Jennifer's condition.
According to the nutritional screening we did, we found she's severely malnourished. Yeah. And other problem, she has disorder of the motor system. As you can see, she can't walk. Yeah. The only thing she can do best is crawling.
In the neighborhood, a few meters from Jennifer's home, we found 20-year-old Gloria Angwech, who was severely burnt when she was suffering from nodding syndrome. She recovered largely because her parents looked after her well and ensured she ate well.
I had gone to the garden. I was left alone with young children. I told the children to help me make the fire to cook food, but they refused, so I opted to go and do it.
Gloria's story of hope indicates that nodding syndrome can be contained and patients can survive if they get medication and have proper diet. Sudil Biaruhanga, NTV.